Hey guys! We have quite an intense week of astrology that is playing out this week. We've got lots of Mars going on, lots of Pluto energy as well. Venus and the Sun are going to be coming into a conjunction for a few days this week and simultaneously moving into the sign of Scorpio together. And we also have Saturn stationing direct in the sky this week as well, leading us into our new moon in Scorpio that is going to be opening our week next week. So we have a jam-packed week of astro business going on this week, you guys. We are likely to really be feeling it. Things may be a bit chaotic and all over the place right now. Not only are we, in eclipse season, building towards this eclipse energy, but also with the Mars trine sort of like fueling things and the Pluto squares, things coming to a head, power struggles. And then we have this Venus combust energy as well. Sun and Venus in the conjunction, moving together, entering Scorpio, really getting in touch with perhaps some of our deepest and, most passionate desires coming through this week. Lots of climactic stuff might be brewing though, and things definitely coming to a head. Lots to talk about today, you guys. Let's jump into this report. Let's see what is playing out from the astrological energies today and how it may be affecting us in our journey through life. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Monday, October 17th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day. If you guys stick with me till the end of the report, we are also going to be looking at some tarot cards that came out in correspondence with our astrology, because I like to tap the field from more than one modality just to get a more well-rounded overview of what's playing out for us on an energetic level, so we know how to face the day. Okay, so let's get into the astrology, you guys. Like I was saying in my intro, this is a busy week. This is another big one, but we are in, the midpoint of our year, the Libra cycle, a cardinal action-oriented phase, heading into eclipse season, in our full moon phase as well, and in our transition of ages. So one might anticipate that things may be approaching some climaxes or just, sort of being a bit intense, okay, in this energy. And again, like maybe chaotic, maybe all over the place. We may feel like we're sort of losing our grip on reality to some extent. Also with Mars in the square to Neptune right now, I've been talking about that a lot. But this week, you guys, what we are dealing with specifically is we have these trines to Mars playing out because we're in Libra season right now. We have the Sun in Libra, we have Venus in Libra coming into the conjunction of the Sun, like I said. And this is another dimension of things that is sort of coloring what we have playing out this week and heading towards this new moon coming up that will also be in a conjunction with Venus. But anyways, these Libra planets, we have Mercury in Libra right now too, are going to be forming a trine to Mars, who is currently like pretty much stationary in the sky, moving very slowly, preparing to station and go retrograde at the very end of this month. So when these planets are approaching, 25 degrees of Libra right now, where Mars is at 25 Gemini, they're forming a trine to Mars. So we have the Sun, and it's happening with the Sun first, and then right on the Sun's heels, we have Venus that is going to be forming the trine with Mars as well. So we are dealing with Mars trine energy this week, and actually then Mercury is going to be forming the trine coming up here soon also. But primarily, for today and tomorrow, opening this week, we are focusing on the Mars trine between the Sun and Venus. Now, another dynamic of the energy as it's playing out, being in the later degrees of Libra right now, the Sun and Venus, we're also talking about a cardinal square that is building into effect between the Sun in those later degrees of Libra and Pluto, who is recently stationed direct in the end of Capricorn. So aside from the Mars trines, Sun, Venus, Mars trines, this air energy that is being sort of fueled and fired up, we are also dealing with a cardinal square that is building between those same planets, Sun, Venus, and Pluto. And this is about power struggles and transformations and things coming to a head that are no longer working, essentially, that need to be reconstructed and evolved in one way or another. But a lot of times it happens to be through some type of breakdown or intense clash of will, or just these shifting power dynamics that may be coming up and coming into play with the Pluto square that is coming into effect this week as well. And actually, you guys, today to start our week, we're actually in a T square with the Sun, the Moon, and and Pluto, both luminaries lining up in this square. It's not exact yet. The sun is 2 degrees off, and we'll talk more about this as we get through the report, but we are sort of in a kind of like a vice today in some very tense energy having to do with power generally. We may, really be experiencing power struggles or some clashes of wills or clashes of power going on within our own selves, or in terms of just like authority figures or situations that sort of seem just like overpowering or over dominating or excessive force in one way or another that are like bearing down on us, that we may feel like we're sort of like at the brink of sort of like exploding out of at this point in time as well. And like I said, we will get into talking more about that in a minute, but I do want to start by talking about this Mars trine energy. And also, like I said in my intro, we also have Sun, Venus combust that we're talking about this week, and Saturn is going to be stationing direct as well, while the Sun and Venus are also moving into Scorpio. So we've got energetic shifts coming at us this week, as well as we are setting up for this new moon in Scorpio that is coming at us on the 25th. Okay, that's how we're going to be starting our week next week. But today, number one, like I said, we have the Sun trining Mars. This is actually an exact hit today. This is an exact activation. We have the Sun at 25 degrees of Libra today. We have Mars at 25 degrees of Gemini. So this is happening in air signs. Mars heats things up, right? Gemini is a sign of conversation. Libra is a sign of relationships. There is a major, major emphasis on relationships going on right now as well, you guys. And with Venus combust the Sun, really the like nitty gritty, dark and ugly truth perhaps of what's been going on in relationships, or like our true feelings kind of like being the thing that we're kind of like maybe talking about. But there could be some very like heated conversations, debates, arguments, that type of stuff, or some like inspired ideas that are very much so coming to us in this energy. But I do have to say, this specific Sun Mars trine in air signs, I think, is going to be a bit toned down. Normally this would be a very energizing and mentally stimulating energy that really like motivates us and inspires us to want to like launch into action, or to like do something, or to say something in some type of a way. And it could still bring lots of lively and energized conversations, or like I said, debates going on, potentially like these heated arguments, this fire energy and the sign of communication, right? Dealing with air signs and balance and relationships and finances and stuff like that as well. However, like I said, Mars is slowing down right now, you guys, preparing to go retrograde. So like the full gusto behind Mars is not there. Like the full assertiveness is not there to the same extent that it might normally be. So we may actually, I feel like, find ourselves like wanting to say something or wanting to do something or be inspired to do something, but for some reason feeling like held back or holding ourselves back, or like just not coming forward for one reason or another in terms of what it is that we actually want to do or say in this energy. There may be a dynamic or a dimension of something or some way that we find ourselves actually like holding ourselves back for some reason, where we normally may have just rushed ahead in regards to whatever we're thinking about or whatever we want to do or whatever. This is also like, this is very inspiring ideas could be coming to us. This is very just like a lot of like passion and motivated like desire to like make a choice or make a decision or act in some type of way. But again, like I feel like it may be being a bit stifled or held back by us just feeling like we can't move forward, or being blocked, or being a bit disoriented about how to take action or how to act in some type of way. And again, this has a lot to do with this current ongoing Mars Neptune square that is likely maybe like diminishing our sense of ability to like be effective and to like take action in one way or another, maybe like making us feel a bit more discouraged about our ability to, do what it is that we feel like we need to do at this point in time. Our courage may generally feel a bit lacking in the energy or weakened at this time, so we may not feel quite like rushing forward, and that may be, what it is. But I do feel like with the Mars square Neptune energy that's playing out, things may be just a bit like restrained, in one way or another. I don't know. But still, like I said, we are still likely to be very mentally stimulated today, feeling very alive in like our own mental world, in our mind. Lots going on, lots of thoughts, lots of ideas, lots of conversations, lots of like things on our list that we need to do today. Very busy, busy day. And perhaps also like really feeling like we are ready or wanting to make some type of choice or decision, or again, take some type of action in regards to specifically relationships, or to follow our passion in some type of a way, or to achieve a goal in some type of a way as well. We may feel like, just very driven in this energy to be productive, or to put some productive work or energy into the things that we want to make shine in our world, like Mars trine the sun, that which we want to be successful, that which we're passionate about, that which, we are working towards. Or again, it could be in regards to resolutions, restoration of justice, rebalancing things, restoring a sense of peace or harmony and balance, rebalancing in relationship dynamics, something along those lines. Maybe we're getting a really great idea about how to like fix a problem in a relationship or something like that could be coming through as well. You may again just feel very driven or motivated to do or say something today, even though we may not actually carry through on executing it, because we may still feel like we got something that is blocking us, or like we're not ready yet, or we are not sure quite if that's the right decision or something. I don't know. Just there may just be something that we feel like is holding us back, even though we feel this strong urge to sort of move forward in one way or another. But again, like their relationship themes are running very, very strong today. We have the sun, we have Venus, we have Mercury in the sign of Libra. We are also in Libra season. Mercury, of course, is ruling the position of Mars right now. So the action that is going on with Mars in the sign of Gemini, the conversations that we're having, what we're thinking about, are very much geared towards these relationship themes, or partnerships, or finances, something along those lines. This may be about pursuing or rebalancing things in relationships, or it could have to do with like creative or business ventures as well, with the Mercury Libra vibes, or again, like financial situations, partnerships, financial agreements, financial arrangements, investments, stuff like that. Okay. Now, let's talk for a moment about this Venus combust energy that we are dealing with this week. Now, Venus combust, or Venus in a conjunction with the sun that is not an exact conjunction with the sun, does a couple things. A lot of people have a tendency of not looking at this as the most positive transit. A lot of people just totally overlook sort of the downsides of this transit and look at like some of like the really beautiful benefits of the transit. It kind of like is seen in two kind of polarized ways, I feel like. On one hand, Venus conjunct the sun. This is like, puts an emphasis on like art and beauty and creativity and love. But on the other side of things, it's like Venus combust, and people will say like the positive qualities of Venus are like being burned up in the rays of the sun, and it's just sort of associated with like the darker side of the feminine, and like the Venus underworld type of energies, like the very more scorpionic Venus type of energies. And me personally, I'm kind of like, yes, I really see how Venus combust, Venus conjunct the sun, does relate to the more like Venus and Scorpio type vibes. However, that Venus and Scorpio type vibe, that is also like profoundly creative and spiritually connected and psychic, and ability to channel really profound like transformative beauty, you know what I mean, and like creative potential. So I feel like the seed of all of the beauty that is represented in the Venus Sun conjunction is sort of represented by the mystery that is also associated, and the spiritual connectedness, and like the ability to sort of face the darker side of things that is also incorporated in the Venus combust the sun energy. Because when Venus is in a close proximity to the sun, we can't see the brilliance of her light shining in the sky, because it's just engulfed in the rays of the sun. So there is sort of like a differentiated Venus quality that can come through. And it's also interesting the time that this is happening this year as we move into the Scorpio season, because Venus and the sun, like I said, they're coming into a conjunction in the very late degrees of Libra, and then they will travel together for a few days, and they will enter the sign of Scorpio hand in hand, united, like as a couple in the sky moving into Scorpio. So they are going, from this emphasis on this Libra energy, this relationship energy, down into the underworld of Scorpio, really like exacerbating this darker, side of Venus energy, this scorpionic type feel Venus energy that we have going on. And I feel like, and then, especially in the context of the fact that this new moon eclipse that is coming up is happening, in a conjunction to Venus with Venus combust, and it's in Taurus and Scorpio, which Venus is a ruler of Taurus. And I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot of like the darker side, perhaps, of what's been going on in, more toxic or dysfunctional relationship dynamics, or where things have been out of balance in regards to our love life or our romantic life, or, the financial circumstances of our life, or like what we're attached to materially and stuff like that, or anything that we are like addicted to. I feel like these are the type of things that we're likely to be really maybe like getting to the root of, or seeing behind the curtain of, in some regards, starting actually now, this week, and moving through this eclipse, new moon eclipse that's coming up, and through this eclipse season. I feel like this energy is looking to rebalance things in alignment with our deepest desires and passions and relationships. Venus and Scorpio, Venus is what we desire, and Scorpio is like the ultimate truth, the core of it, the root of it, like the most intense passion. So this is like aligning with that which, we really intensely, passionately desire. And this is also transformations in regards to our heart, and in regards to our self-worth, and in regards to our relationship to ourselves. And, we're talking about Pluto aspects as well. Venus is also going to be squaring Pluto with the sun this week. And that has a lot to do with, where we are surrendering our power in order to receive love, or in order to receive validation, or in order to receive financial stability in some type of a way. These type of themes, toxicity also in relationship dynamics, or abuse of power as well in relationship or financial dynamics, may be things that we are really dealing with and contending with starting now, and again moving through this new moon eclipse that is coming up next week. But looking to rebalance things in alignment with our deepest desires and passions in relationships. And we also are going to, like I said, we have this week of Mars trines. Mars is also going to be coming into a trine with Venus this week. Mars and Venus in a trine. This is facilitating in air signs conversations in relationships. Venus combusts the sun about the truth of our heart, like not sugarcoating anything, like the ugly truth about things, like talking about it for the purpose of rebalancing things. Because with Venus and Mars and trine, we want things to be fair in the relationship dynamics that we have going on. Like, we're not trying to create situations that are going to lead to any type of conflict. This is about resolutions and facilitating things based on, some really deep truths of what it is that we're really desiring at this point in time. And we're definitely talking about it again with these air signs coming in. And also with Venus combust the sun at this point in time, we may feel we are at a point where we're actually needing to, or ready to, sacrifice something in order to be able to align with those deep desires and passions that are really like what our heart is calling us towards at this point in time. Toxicity and hidden dimensions of relationships now showing through. And again, like, I feel like this is beginning this week, carrying us through the course of this new moon eclipse cycle that we have coming up. And it's like all the hidden things that have been going on under the surface in these dynamics, these relationship situations, rising to the top, destroying illusions, fantasies that may have been keeping us attached to relationship dynamics that are not truly good for us, or to mindsets as well in regards to our own self-worth, our own self-value, that were causing us to surrender our power or be attached to things that were no longer promoting our growth. Remember, this is an eclipse. This is a new moon in Taurus and Scorpio. This whole transit of the nodes of the moon through Taurus and Scorpio, which bring us our eclipse season, this is all about a karmic detox. This is all about detaching from that which we've been surrendering our power to in the past, out of a lack of realization of the truth of the value and the potential that we hold within ourselves. We are being taught through various situations, circumstances right now, the truth of our value, who we really are, what we have inside of us, what we can do with it if we can step away from that which we were attached to when we were blind to that reality. We are awakening to the personal truth of ourselves and our potential. And it may be very disorienting right now, and it may be very scary. And, it may feel like a very strong like leap of faith and like risky business to go off in this new direction, to go on this new journey, to essentially like recreate our lives at this point in time. But that is what everything is pushing towards, and we will be supported in that process. But it's also calling for, discernment and like careful progress at this point in time. Like, we are not supposed to just be like bombastically bursting onto the scene and rushing into things. We're supposed to be, strategizing and planning and really being in touch with ourselves and allowing our like inner compass to guide us as we're going through this process. This also, though, on the flip side, this could also be a very intoxicating and seductive energy with the Venus combust energy and the trine to Mars as well, and the Pluto energy. This could be a very intoxicating and seductive energy, and we need to be very, very careful. We are not being seduced into something through illusions or fantasies or false pretenses or love bombing in some type of a way. This could be a very hypnotic and seductive, destructive, actually, like force, like almost like a spell being cast over us with the trine from Venus to Mars and Gemini and Libra, with all this Libra energy and the Pluto influence underway, and Mars squaring Neptune as well. This could be a very like just dreamy, fantastical, like spell type feel energy. People could be very hypnotic, and it could be like in a way that is like causing us to want to make a choice or to want to take action in some type of a way because of this distorted Mars Neptune energy that is coming through. And like I said, the Venus combust and all of that. And again, this is something else that is probably going to be playing out through the eclipse that is coming on the 25th. So just a word of caution, be very, again, like this discerning, like I just got done saying, like we don't want to sort of like rush ahead into things. Like we want to be very discerning. We want to be very cautious. We want to be very calculated in our action in order to make sure that we are seeing things for what they really are, so that we can really get what it is that we want, and we know what it is that we are buying in this energy. We do not want to be just picking up whatever anybody's putting down or buying whatever anybody is pitching to us. You know what I mean? Like, we want to be very careful, and we want to make sure that what we are doing, what we are saying is truly in alignment with our passions that we are being like called towards at this point in time, coming from deep within us and not based on an need for ego gratification or validation. That's sort of like the booby trap in this whole setup, is people's ability to sort of like play on and manipulate our ego in this energy. If we are overly attached to our ego, that is where we are very susceptible to the mind games, okay, that are also very prominent in the field right now. So, we really want to make sure that the decisions we are making are not to get in the good graces of somebody else, or to prove a point, or to, be perceived a certain type of a way, or to receive some type of validation or gratification or satisfaction in one way or another. We need to make sure that the choices and the decisions we are making are coming from a place of like feeling like it just has to be, we have no other choice. Like, and the way to usually tell that is, it's like that decision, the right decision, is probably not going to make people happy. It's probably not going to get you that pat on the back. It's probably not in this energy going to be satisfying your ego. And that's, again, where we may feel very discouraged or disoriented or questioning our capability and our ability right now with Mars and square to Neptune, because following our passions is creating, a bit of like that feeling of not knowing if we're going to be supported, or not knowing if we're going to be successful, or not knowing what's going to happen, just like the fog, like not being able to see sort of the path ahead. So, if it's something that, you feel like is going to, on the surface, in the short term, make you feel better about everything, then that may be more about ego. And if it's something that, is something that you feel like will really fill you up on a soul level, but it might ruffle some feathers along the way, or you might need to rearrange some relationships in order to make that possible, that is probably like the thing that is coming from like the authentic place within you. So that is that. Now, lastly, I do want to talk about this Pluto energy today. Like I said, we are in a T-square with the sun, the moon, and Pluto, both luminaries and the Lord of the Underworld, hanging out today in very tense aspects, staring at each other with angry faces, you guys. So fun times there. Power struggles, clashes of wills, showing us where things are not working anymore and what changes we need to make, what needs to be overcome in order for us to feel self-empowered and in charge of our, like, essentially own reality and our own path, and our ability to make these shifts and changes and choices and decisions without feeling like there's some like insurmountable force like standing in our way or like blocking us in one way or another. This energy actually today may have us feeling very boxed in, very tense, you know, maybe perhaps like a bit fearful as well. Like this is the underworld energy that we're up against. We may feel sort of like, also though, kind of like it's like now or never type of energy, or just like we're not having it anymore. Like things, this is a T-square, this is definitely things building to a head, coming to a head. This could also bring issues with authority, but it's pushing for deep transformation, ultimately evolution, and trying to help us step into our personal power on, you know, both a conscious and unconscious level. The sun and the moon are our conscious awareness, and also, you know, our unconscious and emotional energy coming into this harsh aspect with Pluto, transformation, regeneration, the Lord of the Underworld, power in all of its forms. We may need to conquer some things today. That's really how I feel like this energy is presenting for Monday today. We may be pitted up against some things, some challenges, but they're challenges that we need to conquer. And through the process of facing these challenges, we will feel much more self-empowered to pursue our true desires moving into the energy of the rest of the week. It's really interesting, you know, like I was saying, in this Venus combust energy and the trine to Mars and all of this, also Mars square Neptune, this is destroying illusions, and the both luminaries squaring Pluto, this is seeing into the darkness. The luminaries and square to Pluto, this is like power struggles and things coming up over abuses of power, or like corruption or coercion or manipulation, or things that have been going on in the shadows that we're not having anymore because we're seeing the truth about it, and we're like, wow, that's a problem, not doing that. Now I'm gonna have this intense conversation, or this just like, I'm going to have to address this, you know what I mean? Like that is perhaps, and or it could be something going on within ourselves as well, like really seeing the root of an issue that has been keeping us out of our own power, or a self-sabotaging pattern that we've been experiencing, and coming to terms with that within us and being like, okay, now I have to conquer this demon within me so that I can come to this place of self-empowerment, so that I can make XYZ choice because I'm holding myself back right now. That also could be something that we're sort of having an epiphany about. This is the day of epiphanies, you guys. This is the day of having to challenges that need to be conquered as well. But we're getting the ideas, like we have the mental the mental inspiration to be able to do it, but we may just feel like we don't have the personal power to do it. But whatever we're facing today and the realizations that we're coming to, I feel like may actually be helping us to regain some of that personal power. And like I said, you know, it's interesting because we have the earth today, you guys, 25 degrees of Aries, that Sabian symbol, you know, what's happening on the ground, the earth. A double promise reveals its inner and outer meanings. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like this energy is indicating, like, you know, maybe seeing some of the darker things that have been going on behind the scenes in relationship dynamics, or in our regards to our relationship, even to ourselves, and or, you know, in terms of commitments, this Venus energy, this pentacle energy, in terms of financial situations, business, things to do with business ventures and stuff like that. We may be seeing where there has been a distortion going on, or where there has been abuse of power going on, or where there has been some corruption going on, or where there just has been some dishonest or secretive stuff playing out. A double promise reveals its inner and outer meanings. And of course, you know, Mars also in the sign of Gemini right now. We are dealing in polarities. So that could definitely really be playing into things today. And then the sun, also in the trine to Mars today, the sight of an autumn leaf brings to the pilgrim the sudden revelation of the mystery of life and death. This to me is like one of the most poetic Sabian symbols out of the whole zodiac. The sight of an autumn leaf brings to a pilgrim the sudden revelation of the mystery of life and death. Again, here we are talking about this period of time right now where we are going through these transformations. We are heading into Scorpio season. We are getting this Venus combust energy that is really trying to transform the way that we are relating to ourselves and others on some very deep, profound, subconscious, and psychological levels as well. And we are talking about the sudden revelations of the mysteries as well, right? That's what I'm talking about. Very Venus combust sun degree, and they are going to be traveling together into the sign of Scorpio, where they are going to be in a conjunction for our new moon in Scorpio, which is going to be showing us revealing some mysteries to us, solving some mysteries to us, and then ushering in some major transformations as a result of that. So I feel like that is very telling. And that is what I have to say today, you guys, in terms of the astrology as it's coming through. Now let's talk about the tarot for a minute. We got a sequence of cards coming up, and I feel like, again, they're a bunch of cards, but basically boiling down to a very simple message that I feel like is telling us to not trust necessarily the state of what we're seeing before our eyes at this point in time. I feel like the overall message is not to listen to other people's gossip, other people's judgment, other people's criticism, other people's opinions, to not necessarily even trust our own judgment in terms of things as they appear to be presenting themselves right now, because we may be feeling very hopeless. We may be feeling like our tower is crumbling. We may be feeling like everything is sort of falling apart around us, or, the ground under our feet is very unstable. We may feel very disconnected from the relationships in our lives, and we may feel like we are losing that which we love very much as well. But I want to tell you guys, we are on a new journey right now, and it is a journey to restore balance, to restore justice, to restore our internal alignment with our personal truth, so that we truly can gain fulfillment in our relationships, in our material world, and have a totally renewed sense of faith and hope and trust in the universe around us. But it is very contingent upon our ability right now to follow our passion, to follow our inspiration, to seize the opportunities, the new opportunities that come to us, without over analyzing perhaps what appears to be presenting right now. This is like trusting and having faith that we are on a new journey, that we are heading in a new direction. We just need to have the courage to follow our heart, again, despite false presentations or a reality that is not in alignment with the truth of the ultimate outcomes as they may be presenting right now. So that was just a whole lot without showing you guys the cards. So now I'm going to go back and show you guys the cards associated with that and why I'm saying this. But I feel like this is this is a very crucial, critical period of time right now. I feel like we don't see the whole picture. I feel like we are not seeing things clearly. And I feel like just need to kind of trust the process at this point in time and not allow whatever discouragement we may be staring into at the moment to determine the path of our future, because we are on course for something that is going to be much better, you guys. But anyways, the first card that we had coming out is the Ace of Wands. This is telling me that whatever passion, whatever divine inspiration, whatever sudden opportunities in alignment with our authentic passions are coming to us right now, we need to pay attention to that. This is telling me that we need to pay attention to and tune in to the creative potential within us that is emerging at this period of time. Now, the cards that we had coming out after that, we got 4 cards, and they were the Ace of Swords in reverse. The Ace of Swords, you guys, when it's upright, this is clarity. This is inspiration. This is truth, right? Like profound truth. When it's in reverse, to me, this is saying that we are not seeing the state of things properly at this moment across the board. Okay, we're talking about the Ace. This is a general lack of truth or clarity in regards to what? First of all, the Star in reverse, our lack of hope or our lack of faith that we may be struggling with at this point in time. About the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, the instability in our foundations or breaking commitments, perhaps commitments that are being broken at this point in time, maybe that we thought would be there for a very long period of time. And then the Queen of Cups in reverse as well, being sort of feeling kind of like disconnected or empty inside, like disconnected from that which we love, empty inside, like maybe detached from, our sense of feeling like, self-love or emotional fulfillment in any type of a way, just being very, or like, feeling like our relationships are crumbling in one way or another. Like these three cards, the Star in reverse, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Queen of Cups in reverse, this to me is, lacking hope for the future, both in terms of being able to have fulfilling emotional connections and being in a state of emotional sense of self-empowerment and fulfillment, and also, being in a place of like long-term stability and happiness in terms of our relationship connections, but also the material foundations and commitments in our lives. And then, but the thing is, we have the Ace of Swords coming out in reverse in front of that. So that to me is telling me that like, that's the lie, that's the delusion, like not having the hope, the Ten of Pentacles, not having the stability, not having the abundance, not having the, trust, to being able to trust our intuition or feel connected to ourselves emotionally, or feel like we can get what will fill us up on an emotional level or be emotionally self-empowered and stuff. Like to me, like that's the lie, that's the deception. The truth that is coming through here, and this is being represented by the cards actually coming out with the Ace of Wands, and on the back of the deck we had the Fool followed by Justice followed by the Lovers. So actually, what this is telling me, even though we may not rationally understand or be able to see how following our passion or following our heart could ever do anything but bring us, the Star in reverse, the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, the Queen of Cups in reverse, even though we may not be able to logically discern how there could possibly be a possible outcome from us following, having the courage to follow our passions at this period of time, is actually talking about this new journey that leads to. You see, he's got this staff as well that his bag is tied to, this wand, actually leading to some type of rebalance or justice being restored, or some type of like inner peace or inner harmony or resolution of something on in some way, in some level, actually in regards to our relationship dynamics or in regards to the choice that we're making. This is talking about the right choice. Judgment in the Lovers. This is, Justice in the Lovers. This is about like things being restored and balanced in a type of way that leads to some type of harmonization or positive outcome. This is this new journey that we are going on, where we are following our heart in pursuit of our passions, actually creating solutions where we can only see destruction at this point in time. It's like this vibrational shift, getting out of our head and following our heart. Again, with the Saturn influence, it is very important that we are planning and that we are being careful and that we are being discerning, but it's not just about, what we're thinking about. It's also how things are making us feel. It's also, our intuition and like what our gut is telling us and what feels right and what doesn't, you know what I mean? And tuning into that and recognizing the patterns and the scenarios that create certain types of feelings that have a tendency of leading to certain types of outcomes, and then being able to, discern in that way as well. So because with this Mercury, or with this Mars in Gemini squaring Neptune in Pisces, there is a lot of just ability for our self-perception to be a bit clouded and confused at this point in time. But it's also because this aspect simultaneously, as we go through this retrograde process, this Mars retrograde process, and the 3 activations that are coming up, this energy will also over time begin to reveal, I feel like, the truth actually of our ability to act, of our assertiveness, of our ability to make the right decisions. I feel like we're actually going to be sort of dissolving for ourselves some illusions in those regards over this period of time, but between now and the spring of 2023. But for now, as this energy is playing out, I do feel like, as it's just getting started, we are having like a much more, I feel like we just need to be careful about what the pessimistic attitude that we are proceeding with in regards to, whether the choices that we should make. You know, this is telling me that we need to follow our heart and not our head in this energy, because our head is telling us, you know, that everything is a disaster and that everything is falling apart and that we have no reason to have faith in anything anymore, no reason to have hope. But, you know, our heart is actually telling us that if we go in this new direction, if we go on this new journey, that is actually going to restore the balance of things in our lives in various ways that will lead to soulmate connections and so much more fulfillment and these divine partnerships and opportunities and balance and peace, not the chaos that we feel like or that we think is coming, you know, if we do certain things or don't do certain things. So that's what I feel like the tarot message is saying for us today, you guys. It's time where we really need to follow our heart over our head, but we do need to be discerning, careful, and not jump into things as well. We need to really, you know, make sure that we are checking things and checking them again and really making sure that they're resonating with us on those deep levels and no like, you know, red flags are popping us for us in any way before we are taking this action. Let's grab one more card now, you guys. A synchronicity card, God, Spirit, Universe. What do we need to know today moving through this energy? And it says, seek the Spirit. There is no power but of God, Romans 13:1. When you have a problem, become aware of the power of God to help you. There is no power but that of God. Seek the Spirit of God within you. Do not give power to others to affect you or the situation. Know that God is there for you already solving this problem. Find joy in your heart with this knowledge. God is there for you and there is no problem that you can't handle. And again, like I was saying, I really feel like we need to sort of stay away from, you know, listening to the judgment or the opinions or the ideas, blah, blah, of like other people at this point in time, especially in regards to like our own issues that we are navigating. And again, this is saying, you know, and I feel this way very much as well. I have really been falling back on this over this past couple of weeks with all this energy going on, you know, surrendering the burden to the divine. I surrender my burden to the Christ within me and I go free. Like that is a really wonderful mindset to have, I feel like, as we are navigating this energy. And that is essentially what this card is saying as well. We just need to realize that God, Spirit, Universe, a higher power is solving our problems as long as we are not resisting what is happening or trying to control outcomes that are really, you know, out of our control at this point in time. So that's what we got, you guys. A message from the stars, a message from the cards. I hope you liked it. I hope there was a little something in there for you. If you guys did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. Please hit that subscribe button down below. It just takes one brief second and it really helps my channel grow so much. I really, really appreciate it when you guys do that. Thank you guys so much for being here. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other social media stuff. Those are in my description box below. Leave me comments, you guys, too. I really love your comments. I really appreciate your feedback. I love hearing how these energies are affecting you as well. Thank you so, so much for being here. And share it with your friends if you think that they would be interested in this type of astrology content too. Come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We've got, like I said, this is a very big week of astrology. Every day we've got some type of like exact activation going on. Tomorrow, I think that, what is it tomorrow? The 18th, oh, tomorrow is our Venus trine Mars exact day. So tomorrow we have Mars in exact trine to Venus. So we will have more of that to talk about and I will be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it, you guys. So have a beautiful day and until tomorrow, bye guys.